All right, let's get straight into it. Today, we're unpacking a massive, high-stakes geopolitical investigation. We are talking about a multi-trillion-dollar battle for an entire continent's resources, its infrastructure, and ultimately, its future. So, who's actually winning this new scramble? Let's find out. We've got to start this investigation back in 2017, with a number that frankly should terrify any global economist: 99 years. That is exactly how long Sri Lanka was forced to hand over control of a highly strategic deep-water port to China. Why? Because they simply couldn't pay back the massive infrastructure loans they took on. The strategy was brutally simple, right? Build the infrastructure, hold the debt, and when the bill inevitably comes due, you take the physical asset.
And that brings us to a pretty alarming realization. The Sri Lanka situation, it wasn't just a one-off. It was a proof of concept. Because right now, this exact same infrastructure debt trap playbook is actively running across 40 different African nations. We're talking 40 countries holding massive loans for railways, roads, and facilities that they are really struggling to pay off.
And the targets in this operation are crystal clear. Nations like Zambia, Djibouti, and Kenya are sitting right at the bleeding edge of this crisis. Foreign powers built the roads and the railways, sure, but as those debts mature, these nations are facing the very real, chilling possibility of losing their sovereign control. They're risking their most vital maritime and trade infrastructure without a single bullet ever being fired. It is an absolute masterclass in modern geopolitical leverage.
Moving into Section 1, the $24 trillion robbery.
$24 trillion. That is the estimated value of the natural resources sitting right beneath the continent's soil. But despite this absolutely unfathomable level of wealth, the region remains completely trapped in a brutal paradox of extreme local poverty. I mean, the wealth is physically there, right under their feet, but the local populations just aren't seeing a dime of it. To understand why, let's isolate one critical target resource: cobalt. The Democratic Republic of Congo alone controls 70% of the entire global supply. Now, this isn't just some shiny rock. It is the absolute, irreplaceable lifeblood running the smartphone in your pocket right now and the battery in every electric vehicle on the street. Our modern world literally cannot function without it.
And this creates a genuinely shocking mathematical disparity. On one hand, you've got foreign tech giants holding staggering $3 trillion valuations. But down on the ground in the Congo, you have locals like 14-year-old Thomas working brutal 12-hour shifts in toxic dust for maybe $2 a day just to pull this mineral out of the earth. The entire wealth generation engine of the modern world relies completely on their backs, yet totally bypasses them. Make no mistake, someone is getting robbed here.
If you actually follow the supply chain, like we're doing in this investigation, it shows you exactly where the profit margin gets captured. It starts at the mine, where the margin is basically zero for the locals. The raw dirt is shipped off to foreign refineries, then passed to massive manufacturers, and finally sold to the consumer market where the profit margin absolutely explodes. The African miners are completely cut out of the wealth they physically unearth. The system isn't broken, it's functioning exactly the way it was designed to.
Which brings us to Section 2, the Superpower Scoreboard.
If you rewind to the year 2000, America was the undisputed leader. They had the military bases, the trade deals, total diplomatic dominance. But today, that reality has entirely flipped. China has quietly and aggressively overtaken them. They've deployed more embassies, financed vastly more infrastructure projects, and built a much deeper network of political allies.
When you look at the scoreboard across these key sectors, the shift in global power is undeniable. Sure, the US might still maintain a slight edge in military and defense, but in minerals and mining, China completely dominates. Telecom and infrastructure, China is literally wiring the continent. It's a comprehensive, ground-up strategy that has fundamentally shifted the balance of global power, and they did it right under the radar.
Let's look at Section 3, the demographic time bomb. Check out this number. By the year 2050, the African continent is going to be home to 1.4 billion young people. Just let that sink in for a second. That means 1 in 4 humans on planet Earth will be African. We are talking about a scale of population growth that is going to fundamentally rewire global markets, migration patterns, and culture.
But you've got to understand, this isn't just some basic development statistic. This is a geopolitical pressure cooker. When you combine a massive population where the vast majority is under the age of 25, with a severe lack of formal jobs, struggling education systems, and local governments that consistently fail to deliver solutions, you are looking at the ultimate test of future stability. History tells us exactly what happens when millions of young men have no future and their leaders have no answers.
We are standing at a highly dramatic crossroads between two very different realities. Future A is a scenario where this massive youth bulge is properly harnessed, creating this unparalleled global innovation hub that just supercharges the world economy. But Future B? That's where this pressure has nowhere to go, resulting in total systemic collapse and unprecedented societal instability. Make no mistake, the path Africa takes will dictate the security of the entire world.
Finally, we arrive at Section 4, the invisible AI war.
See, right now, highly profitable foreign tech firms are relentlessly scraping African internet data. They are vacuuming up African languages, faces, and cultural data to train their massive artificial intelligence models. They're essentially getting the world's most valuable raw material, data, for absolutely free. And then, they turn around and sell that exact same AI technology back to African governments and businesses at a huge premium. It's literally a brand new form of digital colonialism.
And the infrastructure for this is already in place. From the companies laying the undersea fiber optic cables to the foreign tech giants hosting the government data servers, the scramble has totally evolved. The battle lines aren't just drawn over physical deepwater ports or cobalt mines anymore. They're being drawn over the very networks that carry the continent's thoughts, its communications, and its digital identity.
So if the future of the entire global economy relies on artificial intelligence that's trained on extracted, uncompensated information, we have to wrap up this explainer with the most vital question of our era. Who truly owns your data? When a continent's wealth, its physical infrastructure, and now its very digital consciousness are being extracted by foreign powers, who actually owns the future? Think about that for a minute. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.